Welcome to episode 20 of this Let's Play series. We're playing Dwarf Fortress. My name is DasTactic. Welcome to the channel. Hope you've been enjoying the series so far. It's certainly been fun to play. We've got this undead siege going on outside. Still really can't afford to open the fortress up. I need to get this bridge built so we can at least lock in this door. And then I would actually like to create. I would like to get hold of the stuff that the undead have got, not just crush them, because if I crush them I don't get anything. And they do have some good equipment. And also I'd like to see just what these experiments can actually do. So we sort of put them through their paces when we get a different sort of invasion. So I'd like to sort of have an undead pit down underground here. I'm thinking of actually coming in off this layer and then creating an area a bit deeper down, like that, where they can come in here, but a pit underneath here before we get to the aquifers. That will give us a bit of space just to at least trap them initially, and then sort of figure out what to do with them after that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go and build a series of well, I'm going to need a lot of levers, so I'll just go back to F3. I'm just going to add in, they're trying to make traction benches, which we don't have chains for, so I might, I'll just add another one in through here. This is just make rock mechanisms. So I'm just going to have like another 10 rock mechanisms made. We're going to need a lot of them. We're going to have a lot of different machines and things like this down in that area. So we're going to need a lot of mechanisms. What else are we going to need? We're going to need a lot of doors, actually. So I'm just going to go to work orders and add even beyond what they've actually been doing. So we'll get another 10 doors. Not so much for up here, but for down in the fortress. We have to get this this food supply fixed up. We have to urgently. Now we do have some seeds finally, but we don't have any food, and so I'm going to set up a butchering area in this particular episode, and so we're going to go through what to look for when you're going to be butchering animals, and what to how to sort of do it safely for yourself. Now that's semi-related to the kitchens. Now I didn't really do much off the other side of the kitchen here, and I think we might do it. I think we might do it down in here. Oh, by the way, I don't think I've actually set up my bedroom layer properly. Let's do that first. It's not going to take very long. I haven't either, actually. Here we go. So I don't have enough. Like, there's a couple of them that are getting a bit angry. I'm not going to look at it to see what it is. It could be anything at this stage. I think if they go to the next one, I'll start to take notice. But generally everyone's quite happy because we've got the tavern and the inn, and even though we're locked inside, it's actually not too bad. Now we do have a lot of doors. I'm going to have to keep a few doors. I might just do a line of things at the top here, I think, and we need to set up our expedition leader with his bits and pieces. So we'll just go across doors and latches and things, or doors and hatches. Sorry, yeah, we've got a few of them, but we're going to need a lot of them. Actually, I should have set the tick on, not so much for this one, but for the next one. Actually, yeah, we'll do this one as well. We'll just go across here. I'm going to need to keep 3 doors back, so I'll just get to one more. So we've got Gabbro doors. We'll keep the Gabbro doors for what we need for the for processing, or helping to process the butcher's side of thing. Okay, we've got those. We'll just add some beds in as well. Okay, we've got some very expensive beds, and I don't want to use them for just the run-of-the-mill dwarfs. So I'll throw those into there. Now, do we have any other ones that have got doors? I'll do that. That'll be enough. We've got a dormitory over here as well, and we just need to put in some chests as well. Yeah, we've got a fair few of these. Again, we've got some good quality ones as well, so I'll save them for our expedition leader. That one's okay, and then this designates that it's been dual encrusted. Pop that one in. We don't need this for the bedrooms, but the dwarves do appreciate having a place to put their stuff. Okay, so then we've got one more. Oh, did I leave all the beds? No, we've still got good quality beds, haven't we? So we just go back across. We just go into furniture, beds in through this side, and then we've got these beds that have got this is like dual encrusted, special high quality beds. So we'll just go and get a tower cap bed in through there. He doesn't need it, but I'll still do it anyway. Just get the process sort of started, and then we just go across to painting furniture. So we just go into the chests as well, and we're going to put the jewel encrusted chest in there. That will do for his bedroom, and then we'll just go and create an office in this little room in through this side. And this is good practice just for starting to build up, just to get used to how to add value to different rooms. And so I'll just create like an office off to the side here where he can then meet everyone and sort of tell them what to do. So again, if we've got any jewel encrusted tables, we'll grab one of those, and we'll also then just get a chair as well. Furniture, chair, throw that in behind the table. And there's nothing special about the chairs. I mean, there can be, but there's not in our instance. I did have a look before, and there was nothing much in there. Now we've now got a plan for bedrooms. So let's just go across into our zones, go to bedroom, and we're just going to go to multi, which means that we can then sort of just go and drag across these different areas. Now we're dragging across the new bedroom over through here, dragging across the 3 bedrooms at the top, plus we're dragging across the dormitory at the bottom and these as well. So I'm just going to go and do that. That's got that one. Didn't get the dormitory. I mustn't have got the door in it. But it's got those up the top there. Does have that one. I'll just go back and do it again. Yes, 15 beds were rejected because they're already in use. If I just go and drag this bottom one now. So bedroom with multi. There we are. And it's now picked up a dormitory in this location. So this is now a dormitory for, like if we have an oversupply of dwarves, they can just go and sleep in there. Now this one we want to actually allocate directly to the expedition leader. Now we'll probably switch this one around when we do get other nobles, like we may kick him out of there and put a noble in there. And this will then be his office as well. So we'll just go across into here, click on office, and I can just go to paint in terms of the office. It's nice and simple. Accept, and again, this one, when we go on to this one will be assigned to the expedition leader. Now he already has a mega study. We're now just going to go back up and ditch all of the other stuff that was in through here. We don't need this anymore because we're going to get rid of it. So remove that. He doesn't have a study just yet, but that will then go back, and we'll just go and remove all this furniture as well. Now while we're here, we also want to get the well working. Which really should have that. We should have had that working before. We've got this one now open. I've actually put one in there for building, but we haven't done much with that one just yet. Okay, well let's now start on the actual butcher. Now you'll see that we've got like a fairly open plan with our still. Like we've got the still in through there. We've got our preparing easy meals in the kitchen, but we can't put a butcher out the middle here because the materials, the byproduct, can actually go off, and if they don't move it out of there fast enough, it creates miasma, and that makes the dwarves sick, and that makes them angry. So we can't have that. We need to have like a self-contained room for the butcher shop. And also associated with that one, we should also then have an area for refuse. So I'm going to create a little corridor down here, which is semi-related to the kitchens. So they still relate to the kitchens to a very, very large degree. Let's just go and build that one, and then a corridor that sort of runs down. We don't need to go too far. Now I'm going to put the little 4x4s in through there. I'm going to create a 4x4 for the for 2 different workshops. One is going to be the butchers, and one's going to be the tanners. So I'll put them into there, and then I'm just going to put off the side here another larger sort of storage area. It doesn't have to be massive, but just a storage area through here. So that will then be for all the refuse. So this will actually be our refuse pile. It's different than the dumps that we've been doing with the rock. So it's not a garbage dump where we can actually dump specific items into specific areas. This is literally for things that we don't really need or that we may need at some point. If we put it outside, it will rot away. If we keep it inside, it won't rot away. And also, like it'll be for bones, hair, and stuff like that. If we leave it outside, the necromancers can get hold of it as well, and we don't want that. So we'll leave that one there. That's all okay. We'll just let them sort of move forward. I'll just pause the game while we let this actually happen. Actually, one thing I will do is I no longer need to have these miners. Actually, I will keep a couple of dedicated miners. I'll turn off the smoothers so they can just sort of go off and help. And the builders, I'll keep one builder dedicated. So I'm just sort of micromanaging what the different groups will then go and do. Okay, we'll let them go. I will pause and be back when things have been developed. Now I'm getting a lot of damp warnings because of what's above us. I'll just let them do what they're going to do. This is enough for us to now start to, actually probably not, we'll probably just go this way. Just that will create another little error down this way as well. Here they come. Again, just keep it going. Keep it going, guys, you can do it. So it's not leaching through, it's just damp above, and they're just warning that there is water directly above us here. So I'll let them dig this out, and that's all been done. He's a bit slower than she is. All right, so we've now got a little area through here. Now the beds have been they've just been shuffled. They'll get taken away. But what we're going to do is we're now going to go and grab a door for here, a door for here, a door for here, and a door for here. Now this is going to be the stink area of the fortress. This is going to be potentially where things will go wrong. So we'll just go back across into doors and hatches. And we've got a few doors, I think. I've only got 3. In that case, I'll put one there, one here, and one here for now, until we can build more doors. And then what we need to do now is once the, not once the door is built, but that's going to then keep any miasma contained inside that room. Now what we're going to do is go back in and grab a workshop. So just go to workshops, farming, because this is sort of loosely related to farming, where we're going to then butcher animals. So this will then give us the meat so most of what we get from a butcher is going to be useful for food, like we're going to get all sorts of different meat. We'll go through that in some detail when we have a look at that one. But we also will get byproducts like the skin, which we can then tan into leather. We'll also get bones and hair and stuff like that, which is just refuse, but can be used for building crafts. So we can make bone crafts and totems and things like this. But anyway, we'll just get the butcher. I'm just going to place the butcher back up in through here. I'll just place it there. That'll be okay. Granite's right there. Now, loosely related, and I'll build it at the same time, loosely related to this is the tanning shop. So usually you build them both at the same time because the byproduct of this one is used directly in the tanning shop. So we'll just go back across to our workshops, farming. The next one down is tanning. And sometimes you can build these right at the very start of the game. If you arrive at a location and you know you want to have the meat from the camels, whatever that might have taken you there, you can just butcher them straight away because you know that you're not going to be able to look after them. So if that's the case, you can arrive in your wagon with your animals, butcher them straight away, process them, put them in barrels, and there you go. You've got like a supply of meat that will last you quite some time. All right, that's all good. Now back in through here. Sorry, I didn't. I just right clicked. I should have been concentrating on what I was doing. So I'm just going to go and get the tanning shop and make that one out of granite as well. And then this area through here will be our refuse pile. I'm just going to go across to stockpiles, start painting the stockpile, and just create this one as a refuse pile. So I'm just going to accept that. And I'm going to then go to refuse up the top here. And so this will be anything we throw away. Now, if I just go across to custom with that one, you'll see that it's got like corpses. Now, it's a little bit confusing, like what it actually does mean by corpses. Like this is sort of corpses that are things we're never ever going to use. But I tend to also put my other corpses in here as well, just so I've got a place to put them, particularly if there's necromancers around. So I leave everything on by default, and I just go to corpses and turn all of them on as well. So sometimes like there'll be dwarves and things in through here that you can actually, if you need to, you can pop them in here until you actually get a burial chamber ready or something along those lines. So let's just make them for both of them. So that's going to be mainly for refuse though. So there we are. That is essentially we're now set, and so the necromancers won't be able to get their hands on anything that ends up in there. Let's just let this all be built. There we go. First one is being built right now. Now, once we have a butcher, there's a few different things we can do with the butcher shop, but we actually don't need to do anything. It will automatically do its own tasks. So when we allocate, if we kill an animal, for example, and bring it into the fortress, it will be taken to the butcher shop and be butchered straight away. And same with the tanning. We don't actually have to set those things up. They're automatic. Now, if we go and have a look at the tasks, we can butcher an animal, catch a live land animal, or extract from land animal. Now, these are the sorts of things that you do these are sort of like specialist things. You don't ever really have to do them unless you're particularly wanting to. But so we don't need to use the actual controls from the butcher shop ever. To butcher an animal, and I'll get that one started now. We go to our actual animals, which are, Have I got that one allocated? I don't have it allocated yet. That's up above in here. So we've got our animals in this particular region. I'm glad that we actually got them away from the undead, because we can now make use of them. Now, it's a good idea to have a look and see which animals you actually have. So one of the things you may sort of think, okay, and I thought this actually, even with this version of the game, I had to reacquaint myself with where things actually were, and it was when I was live streaming, and so people were saying, oh no, it's over there. So I was thinking you could actually go to the animal, because you used to be able to do this, and actually go to some other method in here where you could actually then go and tell it to be butchered. But it no longer does that. The way that you do it now is you have to go through, I think it used to do that, I can't remember exactly, but what you do now is you go to your pets and livestock. What this then shows you is 3 different buttons essentially. You've got the first button over through here is if you want to allow something to be a pet. So, and now just remember that if a pet gets killed, it's going to devastate the owner of the pet. Now the difference here is the only one you can't actually do this with is an existing pet, like this buck rabbit who is impregnating the other female rabbit that's in here, and the other one that's actually does it is cats, because cats, they like everyone else, a dwarf can adopt a pet as their pet. Cats adopt dwarves as their pet, so it sort of works a higher level. The cats are a higher level than the dwarves. It's the only animal that happens in the game. It's fantastic. I love that. So they're uninterested in an owner at the stage. If they're wandering around the fortress, they'll eventually find a dwarf that they like, and then they'll adopt that dwarf and become that, like their dwarf will become their pet. Just like in real life. I love that aspect actually. It's like, as a cat owner, it's so appropriate, it's so spot on. It's just so funny. Anyway, the next one over here is butchering. So we can butcher any of the animals except for a pet, and we can also geld any of the males. So if we've got like a male, like a buffalo bull in through the side, we can geld these if we don't want them to have calves, if we don't want them to impregnate anything. Now, you can see through here we've got 2 stray yak bulls. We've got so we don't need any of them, to be honest. We do actually have a where did we have it? The horse is actually female, so she can be milked ultimately. I might even delve across into that aspect as well, just to sort of show how things can actually work. So horses can be milked, ewes can be milked, pigs can be milked, all sorts of different animals can be milked with the female version. The rabbits can be used for food, but I'm going to let them grow up from being a bunny, which is a baby, into being an actual rabbit, and then we'll start to sort of kill off the rabbits as they get to probably about a year old or so. So anyway, we're going to go and butcher just one of the yak bulls. So we'll just go across into here, click on that one, ready for slaughter, and I'm just going to now just wait for somebody else to come and grab one of them. Nope, that's not her. She's just going and getting other things. Here we go. So she is coming to slaughter the stray yak camel. This is the stray yak bull. So she then drags it off. Yeah, we've got a lot of different things through the hospital, as you do, and then straight down into here. And then she's now already slaughtered it. That there was the whole process of slaughtering. So when we have a look now at the butcher's shop, you'll see all sorts of things in here. Now you'll see stray yak bull hoofs, so there's 4 hooves off a bull. There's 9 pieces of yak fat, and this is a trap. Okay, so yak fat is actually something that is very, very, very valuable to you, but not for eating. And so I'm going to go through. This is a bit of a gotcha. You'll need to watch when you start to slaughter things to make sure that you reserve the tallow that comes from the fat. And you can see already there's a task that's been given to the fat in through here as well. So most of the things have been given a task. Anything that doesn't have a task will sit there until it's been given a task, and they can go off. That's why we needed the door, just to keep the miasma contained to that particular room. Eventually it will then rot away, and then the miasma will then disappear. Back in through here you can see we've got 2 eyes, some cartilage in through that side, which nobody's tasked anything with that one just yet. Prepared yak lung, and through here 2 lungs, 1 heart, 2 intestines, a small and a large intestine, the chopped yak liver, yak tripe is in there as well, yak sweetbread, yak spleen. Isn't it so detailed? It's just incredible. 2 kidneys, A whole lot of hair has been now pulled off it as well. It's nervous tissue, which we don't do anything with. It will just rot away as well. The yak brain, which we will actually eat. The yak skull, which we just put into our refuse pile, and we can then use the bone for other things, like for crafts or totems or something along those lines. The yak bull's skin. This will then be going to our tanners automatically, and it's not there. It hasn't been given a task yet, but it will. The yak meat, we've got 13 yak meat out of this one. That's being tasked again, so there's someone's actually reserved that one immediately, and so that's an active task. And then we've got horns and bones in through here, 16 bones and then 2 horns. So that's everything we got from that particular animal. So there's a lot that goes on. What we're going to do is we're going to try to follow the yak fat. If we can, and the skin. I'll go through because you'll notice that when I click on the tanning shop, there's nothing in here other than the granite to build the actual shop itself. And again, if I can go to new tasks, I can say make parchment or tan a hide. Now again, it will automatically tan a hide if we just give it a little bit more space. So we'll just let these come through. Now, what have you got? You've already gone to store an item in a stockpile. What is that item? This is the hooves. So you're taking the hooves and you're going to throw them in the corner there. So there's the 4 hooves, and you're going to go back in again. What are you now going to grab? You are grabbing the yak bull's skin, and so you're now going to go and tan a hide. So this is automatic. You don't have to worry about this at all. And so we'll just go back across. You'll then go into there and start working. Now, what are you doing? This is Law is going to prepare an easy meal. So she's going to grab one of the items and then disappear with it. She's grabbed 2 yak eyes to make a yak eye biscuit. So that's where she's gone. So they'll just go and grab the stuff that they require. Now I'm looking for the yak fat. No one's gone for the yak fat just yet, but we'll watch what actually happens with that. Now, what have you grabbed this time? Yak lung, 2 yak lungs as well. So making more and more things from this one. The hide is still at the moment we've just got the bull skin. And we'll just go through this in a bit more detail. While we're waiting for all of this stuff to happen, I'm just going to go and create a different workshop in here now. So we're just going to go back into our workshops, and not that we needed any for any of this butchering. The kitchen does what we want, and I'll show you that. In fact, I'll show you that after I just build this one. I'm going to go to farming. I'm going to build a farming workshop. Now, what this one does is allows you to process plants, work with livestock. You can milk and shear animals, make cheese, and spin thread. It's actually very, very useful. So we're just going to go across to the farmer, and we're just going to place that one there, make it out of granite. And so that will be the farmer eventually. That will be then built. Now, in we come. What are you going to do? You're going to eat. I don't know what she's going to eat. Yak meat. Raw yak meat. Yuck. She's wearing a crown. Yeah, there's lots of fight. So much fighting going outside. I mean, I'm just ignoring it at this stage. How are we going over here? That's now been built. Okay, now while this one is open, I'm just going to go down and actually I'll pause. No, I'll just keep on doing what I'm doing. There's no screaming rush to do that. Still got the yak fat is in there. Someone will eventually come and get that. So what have you grabbed? Yep, prepared yak kidney. So he's now grabbed the yak kidney to go and prepare that as a meal. You have come into hauling the yak fat. Now what we're going to see is we're going to go and see render the fat. This is now the next stage. This is something you should, when you start to slaughter animals, and particularly once you slaughter different types of animals, be aware that what's actually going on, because we need to do something as soon as this thing is rendered. At the moment, the yak fat is not really of great use to us, but rendered down it will be. And if we look at the add new tasks, it does actually have, actually it doesn't show it there, but anyway, one of the, that's why. Render fat has now been added in. So it's rendering the fat of the animal, and it will make tallow out of that. So we're just going to let it render it down. Renders down, and when that's done, just make sure it's still just fat. Yep, it's got the yak fat there. And eventually it'll then be done. Okay, when we have a look now, the yak fat has now been turned into yak tallow. Now, yak tallow is what we need to make soap. we don't want to use it for cooking, but by default it is there for cooking. There's the yak lung biscuits, there's 4 of them available. So we're starting to now get some food. So we're starting to sort of slowly get on top of things a little bit now by slaughtering this particular yak. We can eat for quite some time off this animal. So anyway, the tallow. We need to stop people from eating that. And so we do that by coming down into our labor menu. So go to the labor menu, go to kitchen, go to meat, fish and others. Now it will only show you the things that you actually currently have in your stocks. So anything you don't have in your stocks, it won't show you that. Now it may also have seeds. Yeah, we're still not getting any good seeds to show in through there. Dwarven wine we've turned off. When we come in, the only one we really want to be turning off is yak tallow. You will not cook with yak tallow because we need that for soap, and we will need it desperately. If you leave that one on, that's a real gotcha, because that will then end up where you'll end up with no tallow. You'll think that you've got it because you've been slaughtering animals, and you'll find you've got nothing. And so very, very important. And notice how specific it is. It's not just tallow. This is yak tallow. If we slaughter the water buffalo bull, for example, we're then going to have to go and do the same thing with water buffalo tallow. So just be aware, like if we do it with the rabbits, like when we're going to be having a bit of an industry with the rabbits, it will then remember, so that won't be a problem. And the next time we do the next yak as well, it will be fine as well. We'll be able to then, it will then just know not to use the tallow for cooking. And so we can just reserve that for soap making in this instance, and we're going to do that in a later episode. Anyway, that's sort of a bit convoluted with how that butchering sort of goes through. You'll see that the different bits and pieces here that we don't use is back over this area. Let's just wait for this area through here to be processed, and then we'll sort of go and milk ourselves a horse. Here we go, here we go, here we go. All right, that's now been done. And so when we have a look at this one here, we can actually add tasks in. Now, these don't happen automatically, so the farmer's workshop doesn't happen automatically, but we can go and add new tasks. And so we can make cheese from any milk that we might have. We can milk an animal, so we can go and, hey, go and grab us an animal and milk it. And that'll go and get the only milkable animal that we actually have is the horse. So that'll be fine. What other things can we do in here? We can process plants to bags. We can process plants. That can be useful for getting cloth and for getting something to get thread. So actually, no, we don't need to do it for that. No, I won't worry about that one. I'll leave that one off. I'll get a bit confused as to where things go. Shearing an animal. Now, we don't actually have any animals we can shear, but we can spin thread if we've got thread. So we can actually spin thread through here. I'll just put that on there just in case we can actually do something there. You can create yarn essentially by shearing the animals. That's sort of what happens there. But there's no animals I don't think we can actually shear. I don't think there is. Let's just go and see what actually happens if we do that one. Snowstorm has come outside. Yeah, wow, there's so much fighting going on upstairs. There's just going to be, it's just absolute bedlam. I really do have to get on top of that. I'll just get rid of those alerts now. So we're sort of getting back on top of the food, but this is not going to last forever. Okay, I'll just let the guys sort of do what they're going to do. We should get messages from here. We'll just go back up again to the layer where we've got the animals. This is miasma. So you can see there's miasma through here from a dead giant olm. I think there were some troglodytes that came through and killed that. But this is the smell that sort of, anything inside. Outside you don't get it, but inside you do, including in the caverns. What we should see is somebody come up to grab the horse fairly soon. Yeah, so here we have a lath who is coming to milk a stray horse. So what she'll do is just go and grab the horse. Actually, I meant to center that. So she'll grab the horse, similar to slaughtering animals. So the horse is valuable because it's going to provide milk. Through the hospital yet again, and then sort of straight through into this area. And so she's now milked there should be now a bucket. So she's now got the bucket in through there, and the bucket will be full of milk. So this is a pear wood bucket. If we go and view, actually that's not going to be there. It's full of horse's milk. So we've got now horse's milk in there. The horse is there. Someone else would then go and take the horse back upstairs. That's all good. We're out of time actually, guys. Wow. This is the butcher shop area and we still haven't done much else other than just gone through the process. Oh, by the way, there's the yak leather. We got two pieces of yak leather from the yak skin. So that was sort of what was done through there. This one in through here, there's still some sweetbread, some bull hair, some nervous tissue. So these are different things that really aren't going to be of great use. The bull hair, potentially, we could sort of weave that into something, I think. I'm not sure, though. This is stray yak bull hair. Yeah, it's I'm not sure about that one. It may just end up in here. Yeah, we'll see what actually happens. And she's just storing items in stockpiles. Rat remains, so yeah, she's just grabbing rat remains and moving them off. And so this becomes like the rubbish tip of the fortress, and off they go and do different things with all of these. So I'm going to, what have we got the alert for here? Now we've got a human bar. God, these guys are absolutely being smashed outside. Well, that's what you get. How are we going with this? Yeah, it's going to try to spin thread. I might stay in and watch what actually happens with this. Like if we have a bit of a look, we've got, yeah, they've brought the stray yak bull hair into here. Let's just watch what actually goes on. That's been added, and then he's now going to start to pull this one together. This is Toulon, and he's spinning thread from the yak hair that we created. So this will be good. This will be probably the last thing we do, where we can then sort of see what actually happens. This will then be made into yarn, I think. And so we end up with a full-on industry going. Yeah, there we go. Yak hair thread. He's still got some stray yak hair, so they'll just keep on doing more and more of this. Eventually. We've got sheer animal. I think that they should be able to do more of it, so we'll just go and spin more thread. There's no animals to shear, so I'll just go and I think it probably tells us that. No, it's not. There we go. Yeah, no, it's just got rid of it. It should come up. Sheer animal, no such creature, so we can't. There's nothing to shear. He's now making more thread from the yak bull hair. And we've still got more hair there. Just put that on automatic. They're going off to pick up more stuff. Okay, well, that's pretty much covers it, I think. So you can sort of see there that they're just going to keep on making more and more thread, which is, again, very, very useful for us. We do need to have that sort of as an industry. So that's one way to create thread. There's also the different ways of doing these sorts of things, but this is good. She's just going to pick up more rocks to dump. Well, I'm going to leave it there for this episode. You can see there, I think we've now cleaned out this zone. Yes, there's nothing left in the butcher's shop. There's still the yak leather, which will be packed away. That will then end up in the storage piles. Not sure if we have a leather storage pile. I have a catch-all somewhere, so that'll end up in the catch-all or just left in there. That one won't go off anymore. Like it's only the skin that will actually go to get miasma, but leather won't. And we can start to make use of that as well. I will go through clothing in another episode, but that is this is how you sort of then go. This is all the nuances with butchering. The most important thing with this really is to make sure that you wait until you've got your rendered fat into tallow and then reserve it and stop them from cooking with it. Very, very, very important. Leave it there. Thanks for watching. Oh, here we go. Plump helmets on the way. I've got heaps of food, or a little bit more food. So they'll actually just go and grab those, bring them back in. So we'll find that we're getting more and more food here as the plump helmets come good in late winter. I'll leave it here, guys. Thanks for watching.